Artesca is cyber-resilient, on-prem S3 storage designed for backup and ready for what's next. In this demo, we'll show you 3 things that make it unique. It's simple, secure, and built for backup. First, let's see just how simple it is to set up and manage Artesca. Setup takes just minutes, with no expertise required. On first login, you're greeted by the Partner Application screen. This is where you connect Artesca to your backup software. You'll notice some partner apps are listed with the automatic configuration via the built-in assistant. For this demo, we'll choose Veeam Backup and Replication. The message bar confirms the assistant will guide the setup. Let's begin. We're asked a few quick questions about how we want Veeam configured on Artesca. The assistant first asks if we want to use an existing account or create a new one. Hovering over the question mark gives helpful context. In this case, explaining that an Artesca account secures S3 and IAM resources. Since this is a fresh deployment, we'll create a new account and name it VBR. Next, we choose how many buckets Veeam will use. For this demo, we'll stick with 1, and we'll call it VBR01. We can also set a maximum repository capacity for reporting. This is used by SoSAPI to track utilization. We'll leave the default. Finally, we decide if backups should be immutable. Enabling Object Lock allows Veeam to enforce immutability periods on every object in the backup chain per its own settings. To protect against ransomware, we'll enable immutability. Click Continue. Artesca quickly creates all the resources needed for Veeam and marks each one complete. The checklist confirms everything is in place. We can now see that Artesca is fully configured and ready to use with Veeam. The system also provides instructions for configuring certificates, with an option to download the built-in certificate authority if needed. Finally, the connection details that Veeam needs are provided: endpoint, access key, secret key, and bucket name. These can be copied one by one or all at once. Paste this information into Veeam, and that's it. You're all set up and ready to securely store backups in just minutes. Next, click Finish to close the assistant and return to the data browser. Here we see the new VBR01 bucket we just created. It's ready for Veeam backups. Managing data is just as straightforward thanks to the powerful built-in data browser. Clicking through to an existing account called Production, we can see multiple buckets already in use. Creating a new one is simple. Give it a name and optionally enable versioning or object lock. Clicking into the Data01 bucket, we see a bunch of objects already in there. We can view details like size and modify date. We can check metadata or tag information, or download the file locally with a single click. With guided setup, contextual help, and an intuitive browser, Artesca makes backups simple for real-world IT teams. Now, let's look at how Artesca keeps backups secure. Artesca keeps backups safe from ransomware, guaranteed. With immutability, a zero-trust design, and Core 5 end-to-end cyber resilience securing every level of the system from API to architecture, your data can't be altered or deleted. Let's examine some of the API features that drive Core 5 compliance, starting with bucket level immutability. Here, in Bucket Data 01, versioning is enabled. We'll upload a newer version of this file 01. Notice the modified on time has changed, but by toggling list versions, we still have access to the original file. This works no matter how many times the object is replaced. Next, let's examine Object Lock by clicking Bucket Data 02OL, which has Object Lock enabled. In this bucket, the padlock icon shows that this object is protected. If we try to delete it, Artesca warns us that a deleter marker will be added. You can see the marker here, but the original object is still intact thanks to versioning. If we attempt to delete the object itself, the system refuses and tells us it's under Object Lock protection. This protection also applies at the S3 API level, demonstrating the power of immutability. Core 5 data level resilience also incorporates identity and access management. Inside the production account, we'll go to the Users tab to control access to the buckets in that account. I'll create user 02. For this user, we can generate an access key and a secret key pair. These are only displayed once, but we can click Show to reveal them or copy all or some of the credentials to the clipboard for easy pasting into a client. Keys can also be enabled or disabled at any time, giving administrators flexible control. Back on the user's view, we can create and attach policies for fine-grained advanced control of privileges. Remember, this is advanced functionality, and by using the assistant we saw earlier on, all of these settings are automatically configured for speedy setup relevant to the partner application you're using. Let's take a look at how Artesca handles secure administrative access. Clicking on Full Admin User in the Overview pane, we see this user has admin and storage manager privileges enabled. It is possible to have one or the other or both. Hovering over the help icon explains what each role allows. Platform admins can view system health, monitor nodes, volumes and clusters, and manage users and groups. Storage managers can manage accounts, buckets, workflows, locations, and data services. These privileges can be managed individually or as a group. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, supports Core 5 architecture level resilience. Here we can enable MFA for an individual user, which will prompt them to register a device at their next login. We can also enforce MFA globally for all Artesca management logins. All of this adds up to Core 5 protection at every level, from objects and APIs to users, admins, and access policies. The result is peace of mind. Backups that are always secure, always intact, and always recoverable. Next, let's look at how Artesca is purpose-built for backup performance and scale. Artesca is engineered for the realities of backup. It's efficient, fast, and always recover ready. With highly available options, fast restores, and policy-driven retention, Artesca is purpose-built to maximize the efficiency of your backup workload. Artesca supports a wide selection of backup partner applications. It is optimized for Veeam's smaller 1MB default block size while still delivering the benefits of larger block sizes used by other applications. Retention is policy-driven, making it easy to align with compliance and business requirements whilst keeping storage use efficient. And as your backup environment grows both in scale and in retention periods, Artesca effortlessly scales to petabytes without adding complexity. Ready to make your last line of defense your best one? Back up to the best and become unbreakable with Scality Artesca. Learn more at artesca.com.